Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about assembly, putting together a PC. This is the fun part. I love this because we get to actually grab all these pieces and create this incredible machine. So many of you have, gone out and bought a PC card, or you actually got a new network card. But how many of you have actually put together a PC from scratch? We're going to do that together, folks. So actually, what I'm going to do is grab most of these parts one by one, kind of show you what's involved in putting this PC together, what parts we have now, what tools we have available, and then we're going to go through a full assembly. We're going to assemble this complete PC from scratch. So here, let's kind of pull some of these parts over here. I've got a case, a full case that I'm going to bring out here, and that's the first thing. We need a case because otherwise we can't. Where are we going to put all these components and peripherals? So we need a case. Here's a full case we have right here, and I'm going to put that to the side. This is bare bone. This is empty. It's got a power supply inside though. Most of us will probably get a power supply with our case. Let's come over, and we've got actually a motherboard. So as you can see, I'm going to bring out the motherboard, and it's already been assembled here. I've got all connections, all the screws are put onto this case, this little metal piece in the back, like a chassis, and it's very simple. If you need to take this apart, or if you have actually got a motherboard, there's all screws on here, and they're very simple to take apart. So I'm going to bring the motherboard over here, and this is part of the chassis here. Let me go here and get some memory chips. These are some of the memory chips that we're going to use. Okay, as you see, I'm actually touching them very softly. Here we go. And we don't want to touch any of the connectors on there because it's very sensitive. Those are the memory chips. Let's see what else I got back here. Got a CPU and actually a fan. This is our main CPU, Central Processing Unit. And this is a Pentium right here, and we actually need a fan because this is gets very hot. Has a lot of instructions happening all at once, and we want to make sure that the heat doesn't damage this CPU. So once again, let's put this down. We got a fan with a heat sink on there. Let's see what else I can pull out of here. Okay, I've got a floppy drive. This is a small little slim floppy drive we're going to put in there, a 1.44 floppy, 1.44 meg, and 3.5 inch format. This is my IDE hard drive. It's got my controller in the back. This is a full-fledged IDE. This is I believe a 2.1 gig, and it tells us my cylinders, heads, and sectors right on a label. So if you ever need to know that, it's right out here on a label. Most of the drive manufacturers are putting this on there. Got the connectors in the back, the power connector, the data connector right here in the back. Let's put this real softly here. See what else we got back here. And I've got a CD-ROM. I'm going to pull out of here. Here's a full CD-ROM. We've got a slim unit right here. The ejection button right here, CD-ROM, where we actually stick our CD-ROMs in here. We've got an earpiece for an earphone. We've got volume set, and here's a little LED, light emitting diode, where we can see when it's actually working. And this is a metal case right here. Turn it around a little bit. We got power. We got the full connector, and we can actually choose master and slave and so forth, whether we're going to be using this on a first channel, second channel, and so forth, how the CD-ROM is going to work. And we'll go through some of that stuff when we're setting all this up. We also have some cables out here that I'm going to bring forward. We have an IDE cable, as you can see. We're going to need this for our IDE components, CD-ROM, and the actual hard drive. And we have a floppy cable. You can see it has a twist in it. That's how we can detect if it's an A or B floppy, and we'll put that together. Also, this motherboard is an integrated motherboard, so actually the COM port and parallel ports are built in. In the past, we had our own I/O card, I'll call it maybe an AT Plus or an IDE Plus, where we had an IDE controller and the parallel and serial card ports on there. Well, this is actually integrated, much better, much easier. It's right on the motherboard. We will connect these in the future. Here it is. And I'm going to put these down. These are the two serial ports. We got a 25 pin right here, and we got a 9-pin serial. And as you can see, these are male, and this is a 25 pin parallel. This is actually a female right here, since you don't see the pins. You see what else I got back here? I got some more cards. Let me bring some of these up here. I got actually a network card here. As you can see, this is a combo card, and this, you can see both actually a coax, and you can see a twisted pair. This is a 16-bit card, and actually this little thing right here in the front is actually for a ROM. If you have ever worked with Novell in the past, and Novell networking, you had the ability of putting actually a ROM in here, so you could have a diskless workstation. That means no floppy. You have just a diskless workstation out there. We don't see that too often anymore. Let me put that over here. This is a sound card. If we all know that we have a little little speaker inside the system, but that's not what I'm talking about. We need a sound card to actually process sound. We want to have some nice music. We want to process some WAV files. We want to process some MPEG files. We want to actually do some music, some MIDI. This is a sound card, and this is what we need. So we have actually a nice sound card right here for multimedia. Anything we want to play with multimedia, this is the sound card. Let me see what else I got back here. Oh, here we have a video card. Of course, very important. Without that, we wouldn't see anything. And here's a nice PCI video card. Okay, there's actually some extra memory slots so we can put more memory to take it up to 4 megs. And this is the full video card. This is a 15-pin. You can see female connector. Very useful here. We can connect 15 pins to this, and any monitor outside right now that can support Super VGA or VGA. So these are all our components, and very important before I forget, I've actually done a diagram of all our stuff. We've actually put all the screws right onto this diagram so we can kind of maintain what screws are where. We want to have that. That's a really neat feature. We actually design what cards are using what screws, the floppy, what screws is using. So you can make a nice little diagram. Make sure you have that, folks. That's very important, because if you're lost, if you actually are putting this together, you don't have any screws, you don't know where they are, what's happening, that's a total mess. You can actually put this together and have your screws kind of fall out or put them in the wrong place, or actually you can damage the screw hole there. Also, another thing we want to have is actually all the tools. Here's some tools we want to have. Here's one with a little light bulb. Okay, want to make sure you can actually see in there and make sure you can see any of the components, where the jumpers are and so forth. So we have our tools. So we're really ready to set up our PC, and here we're going to go to that in just a few minutes.